As I explained in my other video called 4 Reasons a Christian Man Should Not Be Nice, I'm using this phrase nice guy in a very specific way. So I'm not saying that men should be mean or rude or that Christian men need to be stereotypically macho, unsocial, not able to host, unable to smile. That's not what I'm talking about. So no need to write in the comments, Christian men should be nice, if that's what you mean. Because yes, I understand. Men should be kind. And that's why I prefer to use the word kind rather than nice, because in the Bible, kindness is actually a fruit of the Spirit. But to my knowledge, nice is not a word that's used in Scripture. And so I feel at liberty to use it in a way to mean a certain type of guy, like a nice guy. You ever heard that phrase when something bad's going on or someone's getting mistreated? Okay, no more mister. You got it, nice guy. And we're talking about a specific type of quality where you're easily pushed around, your main desire is to be liked by others, and you genuinely and generally lack boldness to stand up for what is right. So for example, when you are mistreated and someone's being a jerk to you, and you still have the power to turn the other cheek, as Jesus said, and be kind to them, that's a sign of manly strength, of godliness. If you're a woman, it's just general strength, godliness. But if someone's a jerk to you and you cower, you are worried about them still liking you, you don't know how to stand up for yourself, you don't know how to stand up for other people, in my opinion, and in the way I'm using the phrase, that's a nice guy. To me, niceness is when your first priority is to be liked, to not offend, and to be accepted. A godly man shouldn't make it his goal to be unlikable, offensive, or rejected by everyone, but as he stands for truth, no matter the cost, he can't sacrifice his witness for Jesus in the name of niceness. So kindness is when you're willing to love someone in a respectful way, no matter what form that love needs to take. Because in Christianity, or a better way to say it, in the Christian church, there's been a subtle switch, in my opinion, that to love someone means to be nice to them. And that's just unbiblical, because a lot of times the most loving thing someone needs is to be rebuked, to be disciplined. Sometimes they need the kindness, the gentleness, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they need something else. And love means you do what's best for that person, no matter the cost to yourself. And that requires kindness, not niceness. So with all that said, here are 4 reasons Christian women don't fall in love with nice guys. Number 1, a nice guy does not bring her comfort when she thinks about all the unknown struggles and threats in the future. I was recently listening to someone explain why the military is so strict about things that don't seem that important, particularly with new soldiers and during boot camp and when they're training them. Why do they care so much about the way your shirt's tucked in, how you made your bed, how you march, the way you address somebody, what titles you use, all these things that don't really seem that important when it comes to winning battles and shooting guns and flying drones and doing technical things for the military? Well, this guy was explaining that when you get into a real battle, there's going to be things that happen that are impossible to train for. So, for example, if you're in a battle and the enemy's advancing and your friend gets shot right next to you and he falls down and he's bleeding to death, your natural instinct is going to be to stop fighting and to help your friend. But if you do that, the enemy is going to advance and kill everybody. And so you need an immense amount of discipline to not do what you want to do in that moment and to keep listening to your commanding officer and do the right military tactic and keep firing on the enemy, even though your friend is there dying and bleeding and you might be able to help him. So his point was, you can't train for that real life experience. There's no simulation that the military can create that would give you the right amount of stress and threats and fear that would allow you to develop the discipline in that moment to do the right military tactic and not give in to your feelings. And so what they found is that the best solution to this is to give the soldiers general discipline, hoping that in the moment of testing, that general discipline they've developed in all other areas will transfer into that moment. Because if you're generally undisciplined, it's less likely you will be disciplined when it really matters. And likewise, when you're more disciplined, it will be more likely that you will succeed when it really matters. And so I say all of that because we can all do that instinctively when we're assessing people. And when a woman looks at a nice guy, she doesn't know what threats are going to happen in the future. She doesn't know what her and her future husband are going to have to deal with, what problems might arise. She just knows something bad's going to happen someday. And I want my husband to be able to stand there with me and deal with this in a strong way. And a nice guy does not give her the assurance that he has the qualities necessary to deal with the issues that are going to come. Number 2, women do not fall in love with nice guys because women want to be with a man who's respected by other men. And nice guys generally just are not respected by other men. As it says of the Proverbs 31 woman in verse 23, her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. In Song of Solomon 2 verse 3, the woman says to the man, as an apple tree among the trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the young men. 1 Samuel 18:1 states, and the women sang to one another as they celebrated, Saul has struck down his thousands and David his 10,000s. And historically, before a woman married a man, she needed to know her father approved. When she sees other strong men respecting that man, it gives her the confidence to know that this man really is strong because it validates what she thought about him. So for example, I'm not a very good chess player. So if you showed me videos or lined up 10 professional chess players and you showed me their games beating people, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one is the best or if any of them are professional. I'm not skilled enough in that field to even recognize what makes a professional chess player, let alone which one would be the best. But if 9 out of those 10 chess players was giving more respect to one of those chess players, I, as an unskilled chess player, would conclude that person is probably the best one out of them. That person is really, really good at chess. In a similar way, even though a woman is not a good man herself and thus doesn't fully know what it takes to be a good man, a woman knows a man is really a good man when other good men respect him. The point is, a woman is attracted to a masculine, strong man. But for her to really be confident that this man is masculine and that he is strong, she really does need to see how other men respond to him because she knows she doesn't ultimately have the qualities to assess what makes a masculine, true man biblical and strong. And so she does need to see other men giving him that type of respect. And historically, this is why a woman wanted her father's approval to say, yes, this is a good man to marry, because she needed a man to assess another man. And if we were talking about women, there's some truth there as well. You need a woman to really know, is this woman real? Is she a genuinely godly woman? Nice guys are not respected by other men. They may be liked, they may be included, but they are not respected. Men respect men for strength, not niceness. She wants a man who can be a man in the world of men. Number 3, niceness is not conducive to raising children as a good biblical father. A godly father needs to be gentle, he needs to be patient, humble, he needs to know how to encourage and tell the child when he's proud, and he needs to be able to lovingly correct the child when the child's doing something that isn't appropriate. And he needs to be able to do that in a way that's not offensive or rude or too harsh and angry. So I'm not saying a dad needs to be a jerk, but niceness, a nice guy, as I'm using that phrase, allows the child to control the father rather than the father controlling the child, because that dad's main motive is to make that child happy at whatever cost. And they're willing to sacrifice the long-term goal of developing a godly son or daughter for the short-term pleasure of giving that child what they want immediately, because niceness says, just make everyone happy. Notice the qualities 1 Timothy 3 talks about when looking at leaders who are equipped to manage the church. He must manage his own household well, with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church? Ephesians 6:4 states, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." A godly father will know how to discipline his children in a loving way that builds them up rather than tears them down. But a nice guy type of father creates spoiled children because, again, his main emphasis is on pleasing everybody, including his kids. He's afraid to hurt his kids' feelings, even though his kids need to be disciplined at times. His job is to discipline his children in a loving way so that they can grow up in a successful way. His job is not to create the most easiest, self-centered life possible for that child. And number 4, a woman is not attracted to a nice guy because she knows niceness is not an essential quality that goes into husband material. Women like nice guys just as they like their girlfriends. So they are willing to be friends with nice guys. They're willing to laugh and have a good time with nice guys. They're willing to go through those seasons of singleness with nice guys in their friend group, but they don't fall in love with nice guys. Why? Because niceness is not an essential quality to being a husband. Again, he must be kind and gentle, in tune with her feelings, but he has to do things like pursue, protect, provide, be the spiritual leader in the home. A man who's more concerned with being liked by everybody he's called to lead or wants to lead is not equipped to be a leader, because sometimes you don't always get the benefit of doing the easy thing that everyone's happy about. A godly woman knows that she herself is strong. And so if she is going to willingly submit to her husband, as the Bible calls her to, she knows that she needs to pair up with a man who is strong enough to actually lead in the relationship. And a nice guy does not give her that confidence. Godly women don't marry men who act like their girlfriends. They marry men who possess the qualities to lead her as a husband is called to do. Here's that other video I referenced called 4 Reasons a Christian Man Should Not Be Nice. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.